All right, today we're going to trace the incredible journey of AI in the business world, all the way from those frustrating, make-it-up-as-you-go hallucinations to a brand new era of precision and trust. We're talking about the rise of something called the context graph.
So let's just dive right in with this quote from Reed Blackman, because it really sets the stage. The stakes for getting AI right are, well, they're sky high. Because when AI messes up, it can do it at a speed and scale that is genuinely terrifying. And that is a problem we're here to solve.
And that brings us right to the core issue with the large language models we use every single day. They've got this one fundamental flaw, a really big memory problem.
Look, we all love LLMs. Their ability to write and brainstorm is incredible, right? But let's be honest, for serious, high-stakes business tasks, they can be wildly unreliable. They just make things up. That's the hallucination problem. Their knowledge is old. They know nothing specific about your company, and they really struggle with complex questions that require connecting multiple dots.
Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine you hire a brilliant consultant. They're incredibly smart, articulate, but they have total amnesia. They have no memory of your company's history, your rules, your data, your culture, absolutely nothing about your world. That's an LLM.
So, to try and deal with this amnesia problem, the industry came up with a pretty clever workaround. You can think of it as a quick fix, a way to give the AI some temporary notes to jog its memory.
And that fix is called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. The process is actually pretty straightforward. When you ask a question, the system first goes and finds a bunch of what it thinks are relevant text documents, and then it literally just stuffs all that raw text into the prompt along with your question. It's basically like handing that consultant with amnesia a messy stack of research notes moments before they have to give a huge presentation.
So, you gotta ask, right? Is just handing them a messy, disconnected pile of notes really gonna be enough? I mean, sure, it's better than nothing. RAG was a huge step forward, but it also immediately revealed a much deeper problem. Those notes are just random fragments of information. They don't explain how anything is actually connected.
And this is where things get really interesting, because solving that problem leads us to the next massive evolution in AI, which is all built on one simple, powerful idea. True knowledge isn't about facts in isolation. It's about the relationships between those facts.
And this slide just shows it perfectly. On the left, you have a regular old paragraph. To an AI, that's just a soup of words. It has to guess what's what. But on the right, that's a knowledge graph. It's totally different. It creates explicit, undeniable links. This company acquired that company. This person founded that company. For an AI, this isn't a messy paragraph anymore. It's a crystal clear map it can actually read and understand.
And this quote from graph expert Amy Hodler just hits the nail on the head. The real magic isn't in the data points themselves. It's in the lines connecting them. That's where the meaning is. That's where the context lives. And listen, this isn't just some fringe theory. The academic world is all over this, and it's moving incredibly fast. I mean, look at this timeline. We go from the first whispers of the idea in late 2021 to full-blown frameworks for what's now called GraphRAG just a couple of years later. The momentum here is just undeniable.
All of this incredible research, all of this momentum, it's been building towards something, the true state-of-the-art for enterprise AI. And it's called the context graph.
This table really lays out the whole journey for us. We started with the basic LLM, our consultant with amnesia. Then RAG came along and gave it a pile of notes. GraphRAG took those notes and organized them into a connected map of knowledge. But this final step, the context graph, it does something fundamentally different. It doesn't just give the AI a map, it gives it the entire company playbook for how to use the map.
So what is it exactly? Well, Foundation Capital has this perfect definition. It's a system that tracks not just the what, but the why. It creates this living, searchable history of every decision, explaining exactly why something was allowed to happen based on the rules. That's a huge deal.
Okay, this is probably the single most important idea to grasp. A knowledge graph, on its own, it's a map of your data. It tells the AI what your organization knows. But a context graph is a layer of rules and logic on top of that. It's the operational playbook. It tells the AI how your organization actually works. What you know versus how you work. That's the key difference.
So what actually goes into one of these things? Well, it's all of your company's unique secret sauce.
It's where you put your complex business rules, where you tell the AI which data sources to trust more than others. It's where you define your brand's voice, the words to use, the words to avoid. It basically takes all that institutional knowledge that lives in your experts' heads and turns it into a concrete set of policies that the AI has to follow. No exceptions.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of the what, but let's talk about the so what. What does this actually mean in the real world? Why is this a total game changer for your business?
Amy Hodler's quote here really sums it all up, doesn't it? If you want AI that's reliable, that you can actually trust with important work, you have to care about context. And right now, graphs are the absolute best way we have to represent context.
And the payoff here is just massive. We're talking about a huge jump in accuracy, which means way less time spent on manual corrections. You can enforce your most complex rules consistently across millions of products or customers. You get a perfect audit trail for every single decision, which is a dream for compliance. This is what lets you move from just experimenting with AI to actually automating core parts of your business with real judgment.
And this brings up a really critical point from Foundation Capital about security. Think about it. You are no longer just protecting your data, you are now protecting the very logic of how your entire business operates. That logic is one of your most valuable assets, and it's so critical that we're seeing a lot of companies start to bring this technology back in-house, on-premise, just to make sure it's locked down tight.
And if you're a numbers person, this chart tells the whole story. When you have this context-aware AI, things like accuracy and governance just skyrocket. And at the same time, the amount of money and time you waste on fixing mistakes absolutely plummets. It's all about getting things right the first time, every time, and at scale.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. As AI continues to get more and more powerful, maybe the biggest challenge isn't just stuffing it with more information. Maybe the real frontier, the real opportunity, is in building systems that have a deep understanding of not just what they know, but how they know it. It all comes back to building better context.